In the high-stakes corridors of Place Vendôme and the Avenue Montaigne, a single breach of etiquette is a misdemeanor. But stealing the style of a sitting royal is a terminal offense that has officially frozen the Duchess of Sussex out of the fashion elite forever. The fashion world operates on a currency far more volatile than the euro or the dollar: discretion. In February 2026, the long-simmering tension between Meghan Markle and the upper echelons of European luxury didn't just boil over, it hit a wall that no amount of PR spending can scale. We are witnessing the obituary of a career. Meghan has been added to the internal non grata registry at Balenciaga, effectively ending her aspirations of a high-fashion comeback and sending a shockwave through an industry that now views her professional reputation as being in a state of absolute stasis. And the catalyst? It wasn't a public spat or a bombshell interview, but the physical manifestation of a royal rift, a missing handbag. While the public saw Meghan strolling through Paris with the effortless gait of a brand ambassador, executives inside Balenciaga were witnessing a corporate nightmare. The bag on her arm, a custom monogrammed crocodile-embossed clutch, was never meant for her. It was commissioned, designed, and paid for by Zara Tindall, the niece of King Charles III. The revelation that a reserved royal ordered item somehow migrated from a secure London showroom to the arm of the Duchess in Paris triggered an internal investigation that exposed a pattern of aggressive acquisition tactics. This handbag heist provided Balenciaga with a convenient, legally grounded reason to sever all ties. An internal memo leaked from the brand's PR firm was clinical. All negotiations regarding a formal partnership with the Duchess of Sussex have been permanently suspended. No more loans, no more gifting, no more VIP hosting. The fallout was instantaneous. The Sussex spark has been replaced by a Sussex shadow. Meghan has become the embodiment of reputational risk, and the powerful figures who decide who sits in the front row have closed ranks. This is a systemic blacklisting. When Balenciaga signaled she was a liability, the message was received loud and clear at LVMH and Kering. The doors that were once ajar have been bolted shut. Look at the barren landscape of her current fashion portfolio. In 2024 and 2025, she could still command attention with mid-tier labels, but in the world of true luxury, the 1% of the 1% where Zara Tindall now resides, Meghan has become a ghost. She is no longer being dressed by the big six houses. Her recent appearances show her reverting to older items from her personal archive, or the ultimate indignity, purchasing pieces at retail. She is being denied entry to the ecosystem that sustains a fashion icon, the private fittings, the gala invitations, and the direct lines to creative directors. By allegedly bypassing gatekeepers to obtain the Tindall bag, Meghan didn't just offend a royal, she insulted the logistical sanctity of the fashion houses themselves. They viewed it as a desperate move by a woman who realized the clock was ticking on her relevance. As Zara Tindall's partnership with Chanel moves into production, a deal defined by legitimacy, Meghan is left to explain how she ended up with a bag that literally had someone else's initials on it. The irony is as sharp as a stiletto. The investigation into the chain of custody regarding the missing bag has revealed a startling level of internal dysfunction within the Sussex camp. Industry insiders report that a person claiming to represent the Duchess managed to secure the item during the frantic logistics ahead of Paris Fashion Week, framing it as a last-minute styling necessity for a VIP appearance. The usual rigorous verification protocols were bypassed in the chaos. When the bag appeared on Meghan's arm, the betrayal was felt by the logistical staff whose careers were put at risk. This event triggered a complete re-evaluation of her commercial viability. For a luxury brand, the nightmare scenario isn't controversy, it's the perception of being manipulated. When Balenciaga realized she had staged an unsanctioned brand association using another royal's property, the response was a total systemic shutdown. She is now viewed not as a trendsetter, but as a squatter in the world of high fashion. High fashion is a closed-loop system built on mutual respect. By hijacking Zara's commission, Meghan signaled to every house that she does not play by the rules of the elite. Now, there are no more custom gowns being flown across the Atlantic and no more personal notes from creative directors. This is the reality of the blacklist, a quiet, collective decision by the power players of Paris and Milan to simply stop answering the phone. Reports have even surfaced of borrowed items from previous shoots that were never returned to archives and aggressive demands for exclusive access to collections reserved for working royals. The Balenciaga incident was the final straw. The brand chose the side of legitimacy, aligning with the quiet professional reliability of Zara Tindall. The fashion world prizes stability and legacy above all else, and they have made their choice. They have chosen the woman who rides horses over the woman who rides headlines. The first domino has fallen, and the commercial foundation of the Sussex brand in the luxury sector is dismantling. Behind the scenes, Balenciaga's legal and PR departments conducted a comprehensive audit of every interaction with the Duchess over the last 24 months. The findings were catastrophic. They revealed a consistent strategy of leveraging unofficial channels to bypass brand gatekeepers, a tactic seen as a direct threat to the controlled ecosystem of luxury. Meghan is no longer an aspirational figure. She is a disruptive force that devalues products. When she wore a bag flagged as stolen from a working royal's reservation list, she transformed a luxury good into a symbol of professional misconduct. Consequently, the Kering Group, owners of Gucci, Saint Laurent's, and Alexander McQueen, has flagged her as a reputational liability. The systemic rejection of the Duchess is now a permanent fixture in the data of the 2026 fashion season, where her once meticulous wardrobe breakdowns have vanished into a void of generic brand statements and chilling silence. Brands are simply refusing to claim her. They have realized that without the symbiotic validation of a major house, Meghan is no longer a muse who inspires a collection, but merely a consumer who bought a dress, a death knell for a career built on the illusion of high fashion access. This loss of status is the primary reason her career in this sector is now described as a barren wasteland, stripped of its one valuable asset, her perceived proximity to the authentic power of the British monarchy. As her influence wanes, the industry has pivoted back to the source of true aristocratic style, elevating Zara Tindall and Lady Louise Windsor as strategic moves to restore order. These women represent a lineage that doesn't need to hustle for a contract or manipulate a showroom manager. Their fashion choices are viewed as an extension of duty, not a desperate grab for a headline. Chanel's choice of Zara as the face of their equestrian line is a public rebuke of Meghan's methods, confirming Zara's superior standing in the global hierarchy. The economic impact of this blacklisting has now bled into Meghan's own business ventures, as her lifestyle brand struggles to find manufacturing partners willing to risk their reputation by associating with the Sussex camp. Suppliers who work with top-tier houses are reportedly hesitant to take on her contracts, fearing it could jeopardize their standing with major luxury conglomerates like LVMH and Kering. This forced shift toward lower-tier production creates a vicious cycle of devaluation, effectively rebranding the Sussex style as a cautionary tale of overreach and a lack of professional ethics. The investigation into the Paris incident further exposed that her claims of influence were often smoke and mirrors. Internal logs showed that her supposed constant communication with creative directors like Demna was actually filtered through junior PR associates. This discovery has led to a tightening of security across the industry, with new Sussex rules ensuring no item is released to her camp without multiple layers of high-level approval. By the spring of 2026, the temporary freeze had evolved into a permanent industry-wide lockdown, with Meghan flagged as a high-risk client whose presence brings unpredictability and reputational danger. Even the standard practice of loaning clothes has been suspended by several top-tier maisons because a brand cannot control its narrative if a celebrity is willing to bypass official channels. The impact is a state of total professional stasis. While she projects the image of a tastemaker on her own platforms, the lack of third-party validation has left her brand hollow. Market research now points to a phenomenon of brand fatigue, as consumers who once looked to her for inspiration are now distracted by the constant cycle of scandals and legal threats. Without the endorsement of the Paris and Milan elite, her products are viewed as secondary, lacking the halo effect that comes from being part of the fashion establishment. This isolation was accelerated by a masterful display of soft power from within the palace, where Princess Anne defined a non-engagement protocol that let the vacuum of silence do the work. By refusing to acknowledge the provocations or legal threats regarding the handbag, the palace stripped Meghan of the conflict she needed to stay relevant. In the world of global media, if one side refuses to show up to the fight, the other side begins to look increasingly erratic and desperate, which is exactly how the Sussex brand appeared by mid-2026. While Meghan spun a narrative of persecution, the working royals exuded a level of calm that made the Montecito drama look like a relic of a past era. The return of the Princess of Wales, wearing historic pieces from the royal collection, sent a message of permanence that directly countered the fleeting and controversial fashion choices of the Duchess. As we move into the latter half of 2026, the professional trajectory of Meghan Markle within the luxury ecosystem has reached absolute zero. She is no longer categorized as a celebrity influencer, but is viewed strictly through the lens of risk management. The investigative findings into her methods in Paris served as the final piece of evidence required for the elite houses of Europe to close their doors permanently. This terminal freeze is evident in the total absence of the Sussex name from the fall-winter campaign cycles, while royal-adjacent figures thrive thrive. The fashion world has realized that the controversy surrounding the Sussex brand actively devalues the products they seek to sell. A dress worn by Meghan is now associated with institutional conflict, whereas a suit worn by Zara is associated with stability. The blacklist is a collective judgment on a pattern of behavior that prioritizes short-term headlines over long-term professional integrity.